Take a moment and just look at your smartphone. I mean, it holds your private conversations, your location history, photos, banking details, basically your entire life. Now imagine if someone else had access to all of that right at this very moment, and you had absolutely no idea. Well, there's an invisible threat out there, and it could be operating on your phone right now.
Invisible, undetected, active. And no, this isn't science fiction. We're talking about a specific category of software designed to run completely unseen on your device. It doesn't pop up on your home screen, it deliberately hides from your standard app list, it even sips just a tiny bit of battery to avoid triggering any of your phone's system warnings. And it does all of this while secretly recording your calls, reading every text message, and tracking your precise GPS location. Silent, undetected, and very much active.
So, what is this? We're talking about Stalkerware. You might also hear it called spouseware or monitoring software. But whatever you call it, it is commercially available technology built explicitly to track someone without their knowledge or consent. Now, we really have to distinguish this from legitimate parental monitoring apps. Those are usually disclosed, right? They're set up with a child's awareness. But Stalkerware, it's built from the ground up for deception. In fact, research by the Coalition Against Stalkerware shows a pretty dark reality. This software is most commonly used in intimate partner surveillance. It's used by controlling partners to monitor spouses without consent, but you also see it used by certain employers or even controlling parents of adult children.
Section 1. How it actually gets installed.
So how does this invisible threat actually make its way onto your most personal device? Well, there are really two primary battlegrounds here. On one side, we have physical access, which is predominantly a risk for Android devices. On the other side, we have iCloud credential access, which directly targets the iPhone ecosystem. These vectors are totally different. One requires an attacker to physically hold your unlocked phone for just 2 to 5 minutes. The other, they never have to touch your phone at all, as long as they know your Apple ID email and password.
The terrifying reality of that physical installation on Android really comes down to its sheer simplicity. Because Android naturally allows apps to be installed from outside the official Google Play Store, an attacker literally just needs your unlocked device for a few uninterrupted minutes. They just toggle a setting called Install from Unknown Sources, they download the Stalkerware directly from a shady website, grant it massive system permissions, and then the installer simply guides them to hide the application icon. Seriously, in the time it takes you to run to the restroom at a restaurant, your device could be completely compromised.
Now, Apple's closed ecosystem does make that physical installation a lot harder, but iPhones have a totally different vulnerability, and that's iCloud. If someone has your Apple ID credentials, they can log into iCloud on their own device and remotely read your text messages, photos, and location backups. Look, while this isn't traditional stalkerware running directly on the phone itself, the surveillance effect is exactly the same. You really need to watch for specific signs here. Unexpected login notifications from unfamiliar locations, your iCloud storage draining inexplicably fast, unrecognized trusted devices popping up in your settings, or, the most chilling sign of all, someone knowing highly private details about your life that they simply couldn't know otherwise.
Section 2. A critical safety warning.
Okay, before we go any further into this explainer, and before we talk about how to find and remove this software, we need to drastically slow things down for a second. This is a critical safety warning, and it supersedes absolutely everything else we're talking about today. If you suspect a controlling partner or someone in your household has installed stalkerware on your device, removing it blindly can be incredibly dangerous. Think about it. The person monitoring you will immediately see that the software has stopped reporting. They'll know you found it. In domestic abuse situations, this realization frequently precedes a severe escalation of violence or controlling behavior. So if you are in this situation, do not delete the app. Instead, contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233, or just text the word START to 88788. Reach out to them safely, maybe from a public computer or a trusted friend's device, before you take any action whatsoever on your own phone.
Section 3. Detecting hidden tracking apps.
If, however, you're just checking your device out of a general privacy concern and you are not in a situation where discovering this software would put you in immediate physical danger, well then, it's time to take control. Let's start with Android. The absolute crucial tactic here is looking for apps pretending to be boring system files. You're going to want to start by opening your settings and reviewing all apps for generic, unfamiliar names. You're looking for digital ghosts like System Service or Sync Manager. Next, check your battery usage. Because Stalkerware runs continuously, it always leaves a footprint of constant background drain. But the biggest red flag?
That's hidden in your security settings under Device Admin Apps. Legitimate apps rarely ever need admin access, but Stalkerware demands it so that you can't easily uninstall it. From there, reviewing your permission manager and checking for background data usage will quickly reveal any app that's constantly transmitting data when you aren't even using it.
For iPhone users, the logic is pretty similar, but the battlefield looks a bit different. Start by reviewing location services in your privacy settings, keeping an eye out for any unrecognized app that's set to always. Right below that, the App Privacy Report offers this really brilliant detailed log of exactly when apps accessed your camera or microphone. But the most critical check for iOS is in your general settings under VPN and device management. If you find an MDM, that's a mobile device management profile, installed that you didn't put there, someone else effectively has administrative control over your entire phone. You'll want to round out your audit by checking your Apple ID settings to see what exactly is syncing to iCloud and reviewing background app refresh for anything suspicious running silently in the background.
Section 4. Removing Stalkerware safely. So, let's say you've done the audit, and you actually found something that shouldn't be there, assuming you're perfectly safe to do so. And again, only proceed if removing the surveillance won't put you in physical danger. Removing Stalkerware on Android requires a bit of strategy. You generally can't just drag the app to the trash icon. You first have to cut off its power source, go back to your device admin apps, and deactivate its administrator access. Only after you do that will the system actually allow you to uninstall it normally. Now, if you know for a fact you're being tracked but you simply cannot find the hidden app, your nuclear option is a factory reset. But beware here, you must only back up essential data, like photos and contacts, to a completely fresh account. If you restore your phone from a full system backup, you'll just reinstall the Stalkerware right alongside your old text messages.
Removing the threat on an iPhone is entirely about locking the attacker completely out of your Apple ecosystem. First things first, delete any unrecognized MDM profiles you found in your VPN and device management settings. Because iPhone tracking relies so heavily on that remote iCloud access, you then have to immediately change your Apple ID password. Finally, carefully review your list of trusted devices in your Apple ID settings and forcefully kick out any iPad, Mac, or phone that isn't actually sitting right there in your own hands.
But listen, getting the software off your phone is only half the battle. You now have to secure the perimeter. Because Stalkerware likely logged your keystrokes while it was active, the attacker probably already has your current passwords. So you have to initiate a comprehensive post-removal lockdown. That means changing credentials for your banking, email, and social media. And this is crucial. Try to do this password reset from a completely different, uncompromised device. Then, lock those fresh accounts down with two-factor authentication and secure your physical phone screen with a really robust PIN in biometrics.
Section 5. Preventing future installations.
Look, prevention is infinitely easier than detection and removal. And the good news is you can build a fortress around your digital life with just a few simple mindset shifts. It starts with recognizing that the installation window is a mere 2 to 5 minutes. Because of that, never leave your phone unlocked and unattended around anyone you don't implicitly trust. Reinforce that physical barrier by using a strong PIN that you literally never share with anyone, backed by your biometric locks. It's simple. If they can't unlock the screen, they can't install the Stalkerware. Finally, try to get into the routine of a quick 3-minute monthly audit of your device admins, permissions, and battery usage. Doing this ensures that even if an attacker somehow attempts a breach, they won't remain undetected for long.
If you want to dive deeper into this topic, or if you need access to free detection tools, there's an incredibly valuable resource out there. The Coalition Against Stalkerware maintains a comprehensive, totally free database at stopstalkerware.org. I highly recommend taking a look. Organizations like Malwarebytes also offer specific detection features for Android that can automate a lot of this heavy lifting and auditing for you.
We've covered the mechanics, the real-world risks, and the concrete solutions. But with everything we now know about how silently, how quickly, and how easily our most private devices can be turned into surveillance tools, I want to leave you with this one question. Are you absolutely certain your digital life is completely your own? Take 3 minutes tonight. Check your settings, protect your privacy.